everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And this is the only movie or any kind of thing we want to do, review channel that reviews things in terms of food. Okay, let's get started. Okay, well, we're going to talk about last night's Masterchef Season 15 episode. It was episode 10. It's the Dynamic Duo season. And this was called The Great Ingredient Bit-Off. And they had tables of different foods. They were all separated. And this was the pressure test for the losers of last week's train
debacle.
Challenge. And I would say debacle because I really don't think it worked. I don't think it's a good idea. I love trains. I think it's fun. It would be fun to eat a big dinner. And they used to do this all the time. But it seemed like a real hassle the way they had it set up. I don't know. It was a steam engine train. It's really cool. But this is the losing team, and there are 4 duos.
Safi's dream is to become a tran. She wants to become an actual tran. And because she was always a big fan of Thomas the Tran, and so she wants to be like Safi the Tran and have her own show.
Marco is like making all of that up. Like we've seen a certain person who's famous who just makes stuff up on the fly. Marco likes to do that too.
Yeah, well, it shows that I'll be president one day too.
Hopefully we'll never have another one like that. But anyway, okay, the 4 couples are Julio and Rachel, and Timothy and Athena, Zach and Michelle, and Kate and Tana.
Not Ryan, Kate.
No, this
She's
is
gone.
just Kate and Tana. They're
I think that
the
Ryan,
mother and daughter from South Dakota.
when Ryan Kate watches the show every week, I think she's sitting at home, she's crunched up on the couch, and she's crying. Like every week, because, she knows that she's better than all of them. Safi does too.
I don't know, but so this pressure test, this is only a test to survive. There's no free pass for anybody, like they have immunity next week or win a prize. The prize is just being allowed to stay. So one couple is going to go home, okay? So what they did was they had, I believe, an hour and a half total to cook, but that's deceiving because this was a bit off. So we had 1 table of some meats, 1 table of fruits, and then vegetables.
And then pantry items.
And then spices, a spice
No, that's a pantry item.
Oh, is that part of the pantry? I was okay. Well, that was part of that. So what you would do is they would have, it was like an auction. And so let's say there was a big side, what would you call a big fillet of salmon, a real huge one. And so people started bidding, and they go 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And
there were certain couples, and they had to have certain items. Like, they did not want to get stuck with other items, so they gave up a lot more time. And what you found out, which was kind of like, what do you call it, an obvious thing, was that the people who had the most time, they were both the ones who were in the top 2, and then both the people who had the least amount of time were in the bottom 2. And so that's like a little spoiler, but like it's very, very like obvious that was going to happen because, how do you make a MasterChef dish in 20 minutes unless you're like the greatest duo of all time, So I thought that was funny. I wonder if Safi noticed that.
Well, I wrote down how much they had. Julio Julio and Rachel actually had 40 seconds.
40 seconds?
I mean, 40 minutes, I'm sorry. I know that would really be impossible. Timothy and Athena had the least. They had 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they chose the salmon. And this time that they had was based on, because they wanted this salmon. This isn't just one fillet, like one fish. This is a gigantic one that you would have for a party.
And I think, it seemed like, and I don't know if this is true because, I don't know, but it seemed kind of like he was making the decision and not her, and he was kind of going overboard, and she was just, they have a really weird dynamic, like they're really unlikable on the show, because he always comes off like a curmudgeon, like he's in a bad mood, or he's just like, he's gonna get this done. And then they end up doing bad, and then he ends up being like, oh, well, we did what we could, we had to do what we had to do. And then his wife is just kind of like, I'm just gonna stand around. I'm gonna cook the salmon.
Yeah, they are weird. I'm sorry.
It seemed
I think he has terrible anxiety.
Yeah, I don't know.
Real terrible anxiety, and this is a very stressful thing, and we've never seen this auction thing before. Now Marco has said that he's seen it on another cooking show.
No, you saw it too.
I guess I did, but I've never seen it.
Yes,
I've never
you did.
seen it for this show.
But we've watched Cut Through a Kitchen together. We watched the whole show.
Yeah, they have that. They have done that.
Yes, Safi.
That's right. All the time, actually.
Yeah, that was the whole show.
Okay, so anyway, Kate and Tana actually had 50 minutes, and Zach and Michelle had 55. So the people who had the least amount was Julio and Rachel, and then Timothy and Athena, who had, like I said, 20 minutes.
Well, okay, so it was a little...
It's
I don't know, how did the blonde women with 50 minutes... Ooh.
Well, and what they gave them some time before they started bidding to kind of figure out what they were going to make. So, and like everything about it. And so they did get, it wasn't just they had to immediately bid without even thinking about it. They looked at everything from where they were standing and they figured it out. And so that's what all their bidding was. And then you would hear them say, well, I don't want it that at all.
I have a really interesting idea. I think that you could have actually, and I don't know if this would work. They probably have to test this out. But what if throughout the show, the people who start first, what if they're like, oh wait, well we really want to have this other ingredient that someone else has. And so then you could stop the clock, you go over to that other person's station, and you say, hey, can I have that ingredient right there, like that specific ingredient? And if the people give it up, they get to add 5 minutes onto their allotted time, but the person who asks for the item has to subtract 5 minutes from their time. I think that could kind of be cool. Because, see, that was the thing that was missing about this challenge. That's what they did on Cut Through a Kitchen. They didn't stop, auctioning off stuff at the beginning. They did it throughout the show.
Yeah, that's right.
So
things kept coming up, and they would say, okay, you want to do this? And
so I think that would be a way to actually do a really interesting auctioning process. Because it's like, honestly, everyone got to have salt and pepper. Obviously.
Yeah, they got a few basic ingredients. I think they got flour and
I think
butter.
That it could have been more interesting if they did something like that. But anyways, I guess we should talk about each duo and what happened with them, and then...
Okay, well, Julio and Rachel, they've been pretty consistently good.
Yeah.
And they had chicken, but they decided to make risotto. And I'm like, why?
Well, Joe had a really good moment where he came over to help them, and he really actually tried to help them, physically. And I thought that was really interesting. I don't think we've seen Joe do that before, so I really like how he's become like a little bit more involved with helping the contestants and kind of, because they're making risotto and you're thinking, oh, Joe is just coming over there to say, you really think you're going to make risotto in 30 minutes? And and give them that look that he likes to give. But instead of that, he came over and he helped them. And then Chef Gordon had to come over and help them too. Because they did something really, they put the risotto in like this huge pan, huge pot, and then they put it on a little burner, which is, you never want to do that.
No.
So they had to move burners, and it was, I didn't know if they would cook the risotto fully or not, because, it's hard to cook risotto unless you're...
And most of the contestants that we've seen have not been good at it.
Yeah.
And because it's something that you have to nurse. And I've said this over and over, Marco said it over and over. We've made it, so we know. But anyway, they knew about the risotto that was going to be a pain in the rear end. And they used every minute and cooked that risotto, and they needed every minute, and they did get it cooked. They also, for the chicken, I think they took all the bones out.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't take as long, because when you have bones in the food, it takes longer to cook. So if they took all the bones out, because I think they were like thighs or something.
Yeah.
And so that helped.
And I don't know if Safi agrees with this or not, but I think, and it's funny because every time I start talking, she conveniently starts to cough. Every single time that I start talking.
Sorry.
But I think that chicken dish, it's got to be the best looking dish that they had up. Like, that is the one dish that I would have wanted to eat. What do you think, Safi? Did you think any of the other ones look better? Like
No.
the shepherd's pie?
No. No. Okay, I'm going to mention the worst one at the end. Okay, and then the next one is Timothy and Athena.
Well, that was the worst one.
Well, no, it's
not.
It
was. Yeah, it was.
No.
It wasn't a complete meal, and they gave one of the judges raw salmon.
Well,
and it's so hilarious.
Really weird, because the other two got good salmon.
Yeah.
And it was the woman judge, Tiffany, and she said, I didn't think I was coming here tonight to eat sushi.
Now, what's really interesting...
They could have made sushi if they knew how to do it.
There's two things that are interesting. Number one, remember how last week she had a temper tantrum that a contestant called her Tiffany? Well, in this episode, Joe calls her Tiffany. So I think it's really odd that, like, the contestants have to call her chef, but then Joe and Gordon can call her Tiffany. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It basically just shows that, again, she thinks she's above these contestants, which she's not. She's not at all. Like, nobody even knew who she was before we saw her on this show. And, we knew Aaron. And where did Aaron go? He's like...
I don't know.
They should do like a video call with them, and he's like, hey, guys, anyone been making tacos in there? But the other interesting thing is that Tiffany, she is the one who pushed that crappy couple forward in the auditions. She is the one who pushed for them. And it's so hilarious and ironic how, once again, that couple does the worst job out of every single duo. And once again, they're allowed to just slide by. And they gave the one judge who pushed for them, who advocated for them, they gave her raw salmon. I think that that's so ironic. And, you could say a couple more things about that, but I'm not going to in this video, because Safi will get offended. But it just shows, they're obviously held to like a different standard than all the other duos, because... if anyone else had a raw meat, they'd be immediately sent home. And, they gave the raw meat to the judge who advocated for them, too. It should have been like a full circle moment. Like, okay, guys, you've sucked in every single episode. thus far. And so now you have sucked too much this time, and so you will go home. But no, they let them stay. And Safi, talk some other talks about them, about their crappy dish.
Well, what they had was, they first of all, that guy, Timothy, he said, only having 20 minutes may have been our biggest mistake ever. And then
he says that every episode. He says
he does. He does say something like that every episode because all they've done is make terrible mistakes.
We're not. I don't think we're gonna be able to pull it through. It's not gonna work out this time, guys. Oh no, I don't think I think we made a big mistake this week, guys. But at least we're not gonna get sent home because everyone else is held to a different standard than we are.
Marco.
It's true, Safi.
No.
It's true.
So anyway, they had the salmon, like we said, and we told you what the problem was. Yeah, because you're talking about a gigantic salmon, so it doesn't just take 7 minutes. I think that's, and they have to have the crispy skin
and I'm really upset because I've been trying to make crispy skin salmon and I have failed every single time. And I try to do it in the oven. And, it just, I don't know. It's so frustrating.
They did it on the stove, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to have that crispy skin, the crispy salmon skin. Gordon called it the bacon of the sea. And I totally agree, but I gotta say, I think that crispy chicken skin is better. I think that nothing beats when you have hard, crispy chicken skin. Because nobody likes it when it's soft and when it's fatty, but when it's crispy, it's like perfect. So, Safi, what do you think about Timothy's chicken skin?
Well, I
salmon
don't know.
skin.
I don't care for that.
You like salmon?
I don't eat that crispy skin.
We might have salmon tomorrow if they have it at Kroger.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the other thing they made was some kind of really simple fruit salad
with peaches and mint.
And they were not impressed, and that was another thing against them because you didn't have to do much to make it, and they know they didn't have that much time, but they thought they could have done something better and more, like interesting.
It's the lack of effort. It's the lack of thought because they stood around for like an hour thinking, just standing there and thinking,
okay, what kind of dish are we gonna make, honey?
I don't know. You can do whatever you want.
And he's like, okay, I'm gonna cook the salmon now.
And it's like, that's all you could come up with? Like a peach salad? See, fruits and vegetables, like the fruit thing, it was kind of a bad idea to get that, but it was a good idea at the same time because they needed citrus. They needed an orange.
Yeah, for the fish.
So it's like, it was kind of a blessing and a curse, like amongst Safi's favorite show now that she likes to watch all the time. But I don't know what else they could have done though except to elevate the peaches somehow, and it just, they didn't do that, and so to me it didn't even feel like a complete dish. Like if you gave me a fillet of salmon and a peach salad, I would pick up those peaches and I would throw them at your face. And I would say, make me some mashed potatoes, bitch!
Okay.
That's what I would do.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to move on to Zach and Michelle.
I'm
not even sure the meat they had. Maybe Marco remembers. What was significant about them, they made their own pasta. And...
are they the ones who had the most time?
Yes.
I didn't even really pay attention to them
they
at all.
They had something with the pasta. I'm sorry, I don't remember. You'll have to watch it.
I don't know.
But what really irked me, it wasn't them that irked me, is they kept bitching at them about letting the pasta dough rest because she was working on it, like kneading it and hitting it and making and I've made that before too. But they were just constantly on her case about, don't forget to let it rest. You've got to let it rest. Let it rest now, okay? They just kept going on and on. and it drove me nuts. But it actually turned out well. They had talked about, and they knew exactly what they were going to do. So they had well planned it out. They did their bidding just right. Because like Marco said, they had 55 minutes. They had the most of everybody. So just truth be told, they did good. So
yeah,
the last couple,
I guess,
is the mom and the daughter from South Dakota. They got minced lamb and then root vegetables.
And I think that they got the best ingredients out of everyone. Root vegetables means potatoes,
carrots,
and shit like that. They got that, and they got lamb. That's just like a blessing in disguise with the lamb, because they got the idea. Let's do shepherd's pie, and this is the time to play it safe and say, let's make the classic shepherd's pie for Chef Gordon. And he'll be like, oh, this is so good.
Well, he grew up on it. This is like an ethnic dish.
Oh,
it's British.
Oh, but it's not as good as my frozen cottage pie. Oh, you guys should all go to Walmart and get my frozen cottage pie that tastes like shit. But anyways, guess what they decided to do? They decided to be weird. Really weird.
And it was the daughter, I think.
They put fish paste and bean sauce in the beef and the lamb. And that was
iffy. But if they had done the potatoes right, it probably would have been okay. In fact, they even said as much.
But then on top,
the judges.
Usually, we got an Andy Griffith Show cookbook, and they had a shepherd's pie recipe that we've made 3 or 4 times. It's actually really good. And you put peas and mashed potatoes and cheese on top, and it's really, really good.
It probably varies a little, but it's still it's mashed potatoes.
Obviously, that's a cottage pie.
On top of a meat, whatever, underneath. Meat with spices and everything. So they had minced lamb.
That's a cottage pie, though. But anyways, these girls decided to put scalloped sweet potatoes on top of the shepherd's pie. Yeah. So,
and if any of you have ever worked with sweet potatoes, I love sweet potatoes. You can make a baked sweet potato. I learned this from being in South Carolina. And then you cut it open, and you can put like some butter heroin that has sugar in it. Marco, cut it out.
You can hide your heroin in it.
God. Anyway, but the thing is, when you peel a sweet potato, for one thing, it's extremely hard. When you cut it up, it's extremely hard. They're very hard.
In fact, I actually have a scar on my left hand on my middle finger, and it's from peeling sweet potatoes, and I peeled too abruptly, and I ended up peeling a piece of my skin, and I had to, it literally peeled off, and then I just put it back, and I put a Band-Aid on it, and it healed. So that was pretty funny, and that was all the way back in 2018, and it's still showing. You can still see it. So the sweet potatoes. This is the
really go with lamb.
Well, yeah, because lamb is already sweet. Lamb has a sweet kind of flavor, and so sweet potatoes. That's the wrong combination. Plus, what's really weird is that they did not cook the sweet potatoes. They did not cook them enough, and so that's what's really odd to me.
They put them in the oven or something. It's just bizarre.
They had
a scallop. Just like in the oven, like on a cookie sheet, like they were cookies or something.
They had 50 whole minutes.
Yeah.
50 minutes.
No, they had because they did very well in the bidding. And you're making a dish that somebody grew up eating in another country, and you're putting sweet potato slices on the top. And you don't even cook them right. And when they take the dishes to the judges the sweet potato slices aren't done. So, and that's to cover the top of the meat. So they can't eat that part. That's like half the dish. If they just use plain potatoes, she said this. Kate said, we should have done normal potatoes.
Yeah, it was really funny. It was really funny. She was so defeated. She was so defeated at the end. She was like, we should have done normal potatoes. And she started crying even before they, got roasted by Chef Gordon.
And Tiffany even said while they were cooking, she said, you're making a shepherd's pie with sweet potato slices on top.
For Chef Gordon?
For Chef Gordon? Because she that's a culture. And you know what he said before he tried it? He said, I hope my mother isn't watching this.
I hope my mother isn't watching. But I do hope she went to Walmart and picked up one of my shitty-ass frozen meals that I sold out with. That's what he should have said.
It was a complete failure. They did like the meat.
Yeah.
Even though they said it was weird with those two flavors.
No, well, Gordon maintained that it was very weird and very strange. He kept on saying that. It was really funny. He rubbed the salt. He rubbed the salt over their wounds. He was like, "This is very odd, very strange." And the girls were like,
"Put regular, normal, a little bit of salt and butter. I've made mashed potatoes 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. I've been making them for years, and it really is. It's so simple, and that's all they had to do. And
well, I'm trying to think because I think honestly. The next best thing that they could have done is a deconstructed shepherd's pie, which would be you make the scallop potato, or you could make like fries. You could make like some kind of crispy fried potato, and then you could do the beef, and then you could do like a carrot puree or something like that. Maybe they would have liked that more because it's more pretentious and it's more like full of itself than because I think I kind of like to try like a sweet potato, like a dish like that, but not with lamb, probably with beef, because sweet potatoes are pretty good. I usually, whenever we have them, I put them in curry, but there was also a time last year where I had salmon and I had a sweet potato instead of having a normal potato, and it was okay.
We haven't had those in a long time either.
Well, I don't like sweet potato. I like regular potatoes.
Well, I wouldn't mind having one of those, especially for... we went to South Carolina one year for 4th of July, and this is where I discovered this. They made a baked sweet potato and put this sweetened butter in it. It was so good. I'd never had that before, and I wouldn't mind having one of those.
You sure?
I think it was like we had barbecue with it. So like barbecued beef, some kind of beef or pork. And, it went very well together. And then you got a free watermelon. That was really nice.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway,
okay.
As you can probably tell, between Timothy and Athena, the ones who had the salmon, and Kate and Tana, they were the ones on the lowest of the totem pole. And so the other two made it to the, the upstairs. And they were going to send home one of these two duos. And they decided to send Kate and Tana. And I think it was just too egregious to make a shepherd's pie like this for somebody who grew up eating it. I just can't figure out the decision.
I think though
to do this.
I wonder which judge said which team should go first. But, I wonder if maybe Joe said, I think that the other couple should go home.
He probably did because he liked them.
Because the thing is that I think there's a really good argument to be made that Timothy and Athena should have gone home based on the fact that, number one, they did not have a complete meal And number 2, the salmon was undercooked. And I think an undercooked salmon, regardless if it's just one judge, that's, number 1, it's inconsistent cooking, and it's raw meat. And that's the hero of the dish. And the other side, at least they had cooked lamb, and they had a complete dish. They did have undercooked potatoes, though, and so that's what kind of tips it either way. Like I don't. It's,
to put it mildly, they're both bad.
I think they both probably could have gone home.
Well, that's what I thought they were going to do. Yeah. Actually, I thought they were going to send both home.
Like in a twist, they'd be like, "Oh, well, this season's all about duos, and number 2, so this week we're going to send 2 couples home."
I really thought they were going to send because they were both bad. I mean, the distance between those other 2 and what they did was monumental.
But the thing is that what would... I guess it's also kind of egregious that they have potatoes. They have regular potatoes there.
Yeah, they did. And they even said, Chef Gordon said, you did have regular potatoes, right?
Timothy and Athena didn't have anything.
No, they did. They basically
they have
salmon.
Fruit. They have fruit and salmon. So, but still, I don't think that's an excuse, because I think, you picked in the auction, you bid for fruit, so...
They could have done something with the flour and the butter.
Really?
And the fruit.
Really?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. See, that's the thing where you have to really have a lot of experience cooking, because different things, and even if it was like something simple, you still have to know what's out there and what you can, when you have only certain ingredients, what you can do with those ingredients in many different ways. And it was hard, but they, the other 2 did pretty good. I'm just not, I don't know, the pasta thing, I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't want to eat that. Apparently they make that kind of thing all the time. So it wasn't any problem for them. They didn't have any worry about it. So this thing about, it was just like with the aunt from last week, and they kept bitching about her tuna or something. It was driving me nuts. Saying, no, you can't cook it that way. And she's been cooking things her way the whole time, and it's worked. And they were so paranoid about it, and they kept riding this woman. Well, you better don't forget to let that dough set. Don't forget to let it set. I'm like, come on. So, anyway, so that's it, and I thought it was a good idea. I'm glad they did it, and it does kind of test their talents, like I said, and it was different, and so anyway, I like I said, I thought they were going to send both home, because I thought they were both really made egregious mistakes, but they just sent Kate and Tana home. So, next week, they're going to cook macaroons.
Macaroons?
Macaroons?
Oh, God.
Sorry.
What was that? Macaroons?
I've never made those, because I don't really care for them.
We've never eaten them either.
I think I've had one a long time ago, because your grandmother in Chicago liked those. And I think she had them.
I don't think I've ever had them, because
they thrill me.
They look more like they're made for pictures. Like you have like the colorful. You have, oh look, here's my pink macaroons, and I'm having a tea party with Safi.
Well, I'm not really sure how they're going to do. They've done this in the past. Like they've had to have a whole box of macaroons, whatever they are. And they had to be perfect, and they had to be different. Like, 2 had to be one kind of flavor, the other 2 had to be a different flavor. So I don't know if it's going to be something like this.
I think it is nice, though, because it feels more like classic Masterchef, because they haven't cooked those in a while.
No, they haven't.
And that was like a staple of, like, old school Masterchef, so it'd be interesting.
So I can think of 1, 2, at least 2 duos that I don't know how they're going to make it. I mean, they're only going to send one home, but this is something that I don't even know if any of these people have ever made it, to tell you the truth. So that's it. So that's it. So goodbye, everybody.
No, what? No, it's not.
Oh, we have to. Oh, yeah.
I would give this episode a B.
Yeah,
because
that sounds good.
It's a B episode. Like, it's really kind of funny, like, reviewing these episodes in terms of letter grades or anything, because it's like, it doesn't really make any difference at all. But then when, like, you review, like, a fictional show, like one that I'm reviewing, it's like, it really matters what grade you give it. But with MasterChef, it's like, I give it a B, I give it a C+, I give it an A. It's like, who cares?
Well, it was different what they did, and it was kind of fun. And it was also interesting to see how they came up. You know, like one couple said, I don't want any eggs. No eggs. We don't want any eggs. And I mean, they were just like, whoa, and adamant. And in fact, a couple of them got some of their ingredients for free.
Oh, isn't that...
nobody else wanted them.
Isn't that what... Isn't that what the winning couple or the second winning couple got? Is they got eggs? I think that's so. What they got.
And grains.
Because you said
another couple got grains.
You said you didn't know what meat they got. I think that's what they got. They got eggs.
Yeah, well, I think you had to have eggs for the pasta. So, whatever. Whatever. I gave it a B too. I didn't think, like I said, that was an interesting idea. They've never done it before.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of happy that they're trying. And I guess they have to because, you know, they've never done duos before. And there's things that you can do with duos that you might not be able to do with just a single person.
Would you say now that you kind of think this show is better than the last couple seasons? Like, what was they had the states... And then they had the
regions of the country.
Yeah, the regions
versus the north, and versus the east versus the west.
And then they had last year. They had the generations. Would you say
I didn't like that at all.
Would you say this has been the best gimmick of those two?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't like last year how they would say, "Oh, Gen Z's better than." The millennials, or the millennials are better than the baby boomers, and I'm just like, oh, shut up.
And when people go back,
about that.
When people go back to watch that season or to rewatch it, that season is going to be looked at as a really, really crappy, dated season, because it's dated instantly. Because you know. It's not always going to be like millennials, Gen Z. There'll be more generations.
There's going to be at least another one coming up. I don't know what you call the next one.
The stupid idiots. So it's a dated season of MasterChef. It's even more dated than the older shows, the older seasons, which people actually like.
Yeah. Okay. We're finished.
Yeah.
Well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, become one of our subscribers, and make a comment or two if you have something that you'd like to share with everybody that's really integral to what we just talked about. And that's it. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.